Hi and welcome. I am Cobrex, coming to you from the MC Ages network. This video is part of our tutorial series from one of our servers. Today we'll be on our Towny server, how to get started and how to create a town. So let's get into it. There are two ways of accessing the server. You can either right click the compass and click on Towny Age, or you can access it via command, which is /t-age. Either way will get you to the Towny server. On first arriving at the Towny server, you will arrive at our spawn. There are various things to look at around here, and feel free to explore. Once you vote, you will get your vote keys, and to get to our vote crates, you just type /warp crates. Once you've had a look around, you can then come forward and go through our random teleport. Or you can just type wild or RTP to get yourself going. On arriving in the wild, once going through the teleport, you can have a look around and see what's there. Is it a suitable place for you to start your town? You will get your first starter kit, which is 2 Towny campfires, some basic equipment and some armor. I think I'm going to put this on because this is a survival server. Mobs exist, PvP is enabled, but keep inventory is also on. There are various commands you can do just to see what is on the server. The first thing to do is to type Towny Universe, and this will give you a summary of what is on the server. So there are 7,800 residents, 88 towns, 7 nations, 8 worlds, and at the moment we have 10,000 town blocks that have been claimed. You could of course ask to see if you want to join a town. To have a look at all the towns that are available, you can type T-list, and this will give you a list in ascending order from the most number of residents all the way down to the least. You can also have a look at the nation list, because towns can become part of nations. And these are all the nations with the number of residents in each nation. But you might want to just get started and play on your own. There are two ways of getting started and protecting your possessions. The first way is just to place a campfire. This will give you a 1 chunk claim around the campfire that you place. This belongs to you. Chests and items in this 1 chunk are protected. If you place the fireplace like this, you will see the message comes up. Java players, you can tick to confirm, but Bedrock players, you're going to need to type /confirm. We now have a campfire in place, and the chunk where this campfire is placed is protected. The campfire, however, will expire in 24 hours, so if you want to re-enable your protection, you will need to break this campfire and place another. But be aware you will need a Silk Touch tool in order to keep the campfire intact. Now, once we've created our campfire, we can then start mining, we can start clearing land and starting to plan how we're going to make our town. As I said, claiming is done by chunks. Now the easiest way to see chunks on Java version is to press F3 and G at the same time, and as you can see, the chunk border now shows up. I'm actually not going to use a campfire, I'm actually going to create my town. Now, in order to know what the costs are, you can do /Towny prices. And this will give you the prices. The cost of a new town is $2,000. To create a nation is $100,000. To reclaim your town, upkeep is the daily cost of running the town. So once you've created your town, you will need to pay $350 in order to keep the town. If you don't, the town goes bankrupt and the server will eventually delete your town. But we'll go into that in a little more detail. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my town. The command is \t create, and then you put in a name. And I'm going to put Cobrex Town. Again, you can click the chat to confirm that you want to create your town. Bedrock players, you will need to type in \confirm for it to work. And I have now created my town. Now, on creating the town, you get an allowance to claim 30 chunks. If I want to claim more than 30 chunks, I can either buy them from the server or I can get other players to join my town. Every player that joins my town gives me another 30 chunks that I'm able to claim. So plenty of space for me to make a nice big town. Or even just for myself to make a big build. 30 chunks is a lot. Now let's just have a look at the information. If you type \t, we'll very quickly go through this. You can set your own message board so that when people spawn into your town, it will show them a message. This is a summary of the chunks. I have one chunk, which is the original claim, out of 30. I am able to purchase another 500 chunks if I want to, but I do know that it's going to be very expensive to do this. Permissions. This is a really important part of Towny, and you're able to set individual permissions for your town. You can give permissions for build, destroy, switch, and item use. So item use is things like lecterns, enchanting tables, that sort of thing. Switches is doors, pistons, chests, that sort of thing. We can set explosions to off, fire spread to off, mob spawning to off or on. So when I'm in a town chunk and mob spawning is off, no mobs will spawn in the chunk. And if a mob wanders into a town chunk, it will then despawn. In my bank, I have no money at the moment, and this is really important to keep an eye on this number, because I must make sure that every real life day I have $350 in the town in order to meet the tax. This tax is the tax that I charge people for being in my town, and these can all be set via commands. The Hermit is just a rank that goes with the number of chunks that the town owns, so as I start to increase the number of chunks, you will find that this prefix will change. So, first thing I need to do is I need to deposit some money into the town. And to put money in the town, you just do \t deposit, and I'm going to put $1,000 into the town. And if I do \t, you will see now that the town has $1,000 in it. Now, to see what prices they are on the server, I can do \towny prices. And this will tell me the prices of everything. We know about the cost of the new town and the cost of nations because we've already had a look at that. This is the important bit. Down here. When I'm claiming a new town block, it's going to cost me $250. We'll talk about outposts in a later video. This is the residence tax. And these plot settings here we will look at in later videos once you've established your town and you want to set up embassies or inns or jails, farms, all sorts of things. It doesn't really matter, but we'll go through those in more detail. This video is more about getting started and being able to claim chunks and expanding your town. So, I've now got $1,000 in the bank. How do I earn money? Well, there are several ways of earning money on the server. You can do /vote. Vote will give you all the vote sites, and you can click on these and do a vote. You get $650 for each vote, plus a vote crate key. And if there are enough players on the server and we have enough votes, there is also a vote party that comes around that can give you some special stuff. The next way is to visit our online shop. The server shop allows you to buy and sell items. You can do farming, food, blocks. I'll let you explore this when you come onto the server. If I just very quickly look at farming, if I were to sell 64 cactus, I would get $84. As a hint, sugarcane is the easiest and most profitable way to make money. But I've got nothing in my inventory. I don't have anything to build with. What do I do? Well, the easiest thing to do is all our mining is done on the mining server, and you must come here to do your resource gathering. There is no problem with you leveling land and clearing bits for your town, but please do not do mining, strip mining, or mining on the main server. We like to keep the main world in a nice condition. So tap /mining, and this will take us to the mining server. On arriving on the mining server, you will come to the mining spawn. From here, there are 4 worlds you can choose from. You can go to the mining world, you can go to the dungeon world. Now, there's not really supposed to be mining done on the dungeon world, but there are loads of things to explore and dungeons to find, with mobs and loot. You can go to our nether world, or to the end world. All of these worlds are for mining. But for this video today, we are just looking at the mining world. Now we can go through the teleport, or you can type /warp mining, and that will take you to all of the mining world spawns. This spawn is protected, so you cannot mine anything here, but feel free to have an explore round, see what's here. Got some great creative builders on this server. But I want to get started, so like we did on the main server, we can do /RTP or /wild to get going. This will teleport us to somewhere in the wild where we're able to break blocks and mine. Obviously, mob spawning is live here, and I've arrived in the dark, so I'm just going to keep walking whilst I'm talking to you. Inventories are linked, so your inventory on the main world and the mining world are the same. So anything that you mine here, you'll be able to take back to the main world for your build on your town. The shop is also linked, so everything in the shop here is exactly the same as it was on the main server. So you can mine here and sell to the shop, and your money is also synced. So the money you earn over here, you can take back to the main world. One thing to be aware of is that XP is not. Therefore, any XP grinding you do on the mining server will not be credited to your XP on the main server. So if you want to do some enchanting and use an XP grinder, then you're going to have to do it here. But you can't claim here. So there are some decisions that you're going to have to make. Once you have done your mining, you can then get back to the main server by typing /th, and that will take you back to your town. And here we are. Now let's re-enable the border. As we cross over the edges of the border, you will see that it tells me it's wilderness in the chat. And then I walk back in and it tells me I'm back in my settlement. If I go to this corner, it will tell me it's wilderness, and so on. Having the chunk border display is incredibly useful when looking to expand your town. And to expand your town, I'm just going to move over to this chunk here, and I'm going to do /t claim. And I have now claimed this chunk. As I cross over it, it doesn't tell me that I'm in a wild or town because they're both town owned. But if I go over here, it tells me I'm back in wilderness. So I now know that I own these two chunks next to each other. You can only claim an adjacent chunk to a chunk that is already owned by the town. I'm going to claim this one as well. And to keep things simple, I'm just going to claim in a square or a rectangle. I've decided to get out of the way of that mob because I know the mob will despawn as it comes into a town chunk. I'm going to want to claim these three next to me. So town claim and town claim. I do want to do one more, but I don't actually have enough money in the town bank because I've now claimed 4 chunks. If I do T, you can see I now have no money. So I'm going to have to earn some money or put some more money into the bank. I can use the shop, I can go mining, sell ores to the server. A really nice way to get started is to just mine or farm trees and allow them and sell them to the server. It's a good way to make some money to get yourself started. But I'm just going to put a little bit more money into the town, and I just want to claim this last chunk over here. So I have a nice rectangle for me to start working on my town. I don't actually need the campfire here, but I'm going to leave it because it's not actually needed because all of this area here is now protected. Now, let's just have a very quick look at permissions. At the moment, nobody has any permissions on the server, or on this town anyway. I can set these permissions to be resident only, nation, anybody, if I want to. The easiest way to have a look at how the settings work and what permissions you can and can't set is to get yourself on to our website, which is www.mc-ages.com. Once you get there, then the easiest thing to do is to click on forums, scroll down to where the Towny section is, and in the Towny section you will find a list of all the commands that you're able to do. But the first one I'm going to give you, because lots of you tend to arrive with your friends, is how to invite a player to your town. And you just do \t invite and then put the player's name in. And return. They will then get the invite on their screen and they need to either click the accept, or if you're a Bedrock player, you will need to type the accept command into chat. And then there's 2 of you that can work together on the town. But bear in mind, in the permissions, excuse me, only the mayor has permission to do anything. So you'll need to look at appointing them as a member of town staff. The 2 main town staff members that you need to look at are assistant and knight. Basically, those 2 ranks allow them to do everything in the town except delete it and withdraw money. So they will have permission to claim, they will have permission to recruit players, they will have permission to access town plots that are not owned by themselves, and they will be able to work on town-owned plots that are not owned by any player but are owned by the town. Well, I think I've been talking long enough. I'm going to let you guys get into the server and start to get playing. There are many players on the server who are more than happy to answer any questions, as well as the staff team. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a like and give us a follow, and look forward to seeing you soon.